From DocuSign, I'm Julie Gordon, a programmer-writer on the Developer Center team. In this screencast, I'll walk you through the API Usage Center, a tool in e-signature admin that helps you monitor the health of your applications. To access the API Usage Center, you'll need a DocuSign developer account. You can sign up for a free account at this URL. The API Usage Center has several features that indicate how efficient your applications are when calling DocuSign APIs. Customizable charts show API call volume over time. You can drill in for more details and to pinpoint sources of excessive calls, which can be a drag on performance. You can also retrieve custom efficiency reports that highlight areas for improvement. The API Usage Center supports the eSignature REST, eSignature SOAP, and Click APIs. Support for additional DocuSign APIs will be available in the future. By monitoring the API Usage Center and following its recommended best practices, you can optimize your DocuSign API integrations. This provides a better experience for your users. You can also position your applications to scale as volume increases. If you have a DocuSign developer account, you can access the API Usage Center in the developer or production environment by visiting the appropriate URL shown here. If you access one of the URLs shown on the slide, you'll be taken to the API Usage Center main dashboard after logging in. To navigate to the API Usage Center from the eSignature admin homepage, select Settings from the top navigation bar, then select API Usage Center under Integrations in the left navigation menu. The main dashboard has several components that monitor the API activity of your apps or integrations. Before we start looking at these components, let's take a detour to the Apps and Keys page for a quick review of DocuSign API terminology. The Apps and Keys page lists the integrations associated with your developer account. An integration is the custom code that you write to incorporate DocuSign technology into your application, website, or system. An app is a set of parameters that specify an integration's access to the DocuSign platform. While we're here, let's review some other items that we'll see in the API Usage Center. One is the integration key, which is a GUID identifier that's unique to each app and is used during the authentication process. Another is the app name, which is a user-defined descriptive name for an app. Any app listed on the Apps and Keys page will be included in the API Usage Center if the app has initiated API calls in the last 30 days. Returning to the API Usage Center, let's take a look at the first component on the main dashboard, the API Calls graph. This graph displays the number of API calls per hour made by apps associated with this account. The horizontal axis displays the start time for each 1-hour interval. The vertical axis lists the number of calls made. I can customize the display by changing filters that control the date range, the apps included, and the types of calls included. If I hover over a point on the graph, a call-out shows the date and start time of that 1-hour interval and the number of API calls made during that hour. The red line on the graph represents the API call limit for the account, which by default is 1,000 per hour. If the apps associated with this account exceed the limit, subsequent API calls will be blocked until the start of the next hour. If call volume exceeds the limit, one option for investigating the issue is to click a point on the graph that's above the limit to drill in for more detail. This launches a window containing a chart that breaks down calls during that hour by app. This shows which apps were responsible for the bulk of the calls. From this window, click the View Details button to access detailed API call history, including a list of the last 500 calls made, details about specific calls, and a log file of API calls in CSV format. The next two components on the main dashboard show API call totals per app over the time frame selected in the date range filter. One component displays the data in the form of a chart, and the other component displays it as a table. In both components, apps are identified by both their app name and integration key. One of the most insightful pieces of information in the API Usage Center is the efficiency score. The score indicates how well an app conforms to API call best practices. Scores range from a high of 100 to a low of 0. The DocuSign Efficiency Engine updates the scores daily based on call history from the past 7 days. Scores are classified as good, fair, or poor. Here's an example of a score in the fair range, which means that the app has minor issues that can be addressed by making modifications to the app. To find out what factors contributed to this score and what fixes I can make to improve it, I can click the Actions button in this row and select View Efficiency Score. The Efficiency Score detail page for an app shows the current overall score, the rating, and a general performance assessment. It also shows whether the score has changed since the previous score was calculated 24 hours earlier. A positive, non-zero number means that the score improved, while a negative number means that it declined. The negative efficiency factors list includes characteristics of API calls that are reducing the efficiency of your integration. The factors are listed in order from greatest to least severity. Addressing the issues at the top of the list first will have the greatest impact on the score, but the recommended practice is to address each issue until there are no more negative factors displayed. For more information about any factor in the list, I can click the See Recommendations button. This launches a window that includes details about the factor and a list of recommended changes that, if implemented, will address the issue. If you follow the recommendations provided, over time you'll notice improvements in the efficiency score of your app. You'll also see the factors lessen in severity and eventually drop off the list. For more information about the API Usage Center and how to develop integrations with DocuSign, here are some resources. I recommend checking out the API Usage Center Guide, Developer Center How-To Guides, going to Stack Overflow, reaching out to support, or signing up for API office hours. That's it. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching from our YouTube channel, please post questions and comments below the video or email us at developers@docusign.com.